As a child, when you do something wrong to your parents, or when you do something that your parents do not agree with, or something that they've warned you sternly not to do, the thought that goes on in your head is, oh, what's the worst that my parents can do, right? They'll probably shout at me, they would scold me, they would punish me for going against their will, for going against things that they've asked me not to do, for disobeying my parents. But what if the worst thing that they would do is not to punish you? What if the worst thing that your parents would do is to sneak into your room in the middle of the night and strangle you to death? This is the story of Tiba Al Ali, a young girl, a young YouTuber who was full of life, who was inspiring, who had high aspirations, but was strangled to death by her own father. Let's get right into the story. Hello and welcome to Sleuthville. My name is Lled and I'm your host for today. If this is your first time stopping by this channel, please make sure to subscribe. Please click on that subscribe button right now. Click on the like button as well so that this video can be recommended to the proposed audience. I'm sure that you would enjoy the video anyways. And let me know your thoughts in the comments section as well. Let's get right into this video. Tiba was born in Iraq in the year 2000, and she was a young girl full of life, had so many aspirations, had so many things that she had planned out for her life. She had a focus on where she was going to. She had a focus on what she wanted to become in this life. And she was born into this family where her dreams and aspirations were not aligned with what the family wanted for their children. In 2017, Tiba and her family had gone to Istanbul, Turkey, for a family visit or for holidays, for vacation. And after they were done with their vacation, it was time to return back to their home in Baghdad, Iraq. And Tiba had refused to go back to Iraq with her family. The reason why she didn't want to go back to Iraq was because, according to her, she had been assaulted and molested by her own brother, not somebody else, not a distant family member, her blood brother. And because of this, she had decided to stay back in Turkey and continue with her life. And all efforts by her parents and her family to bring her back proved futile. Now, her parents went back to Iraq and she stayed back in Istanbul, and she started a YouTube channel. She became very active on Instagram, on social media, and through her media platforms, she was able to showcase her life, to grow her channel. Her YouTube channel had about 18,000 subscribers at the time. And, she had quite a following. She had a community of people that shared the same values as her, of people that understood her, understood her dreams, understood her aspirations, understood everything that she stood for. She was quite full of life. She deviated from the norms of the society that she grew up in. She was somebody that felt that women should have equal rights as the other gender. And she wasn't hesitant to speak about these things that she felt were injustice to women. Now, when she was in Turkey, she got engaged to a Syrian man known as Muhammad, and they started living together. And when her father and her family knew about this, it stood against their tradition, it stood against their religious beliefs, and they were not happy with that news. And they tried so hard to call her back to order, to tell her that these things that she was doing was against their religion and against their beliefs. She should not be living with a man that she's not married to. And how do you have a fiancé that your parents are not aware of? They've never met him and they did not approve of this fiancé. What was she doing with that kind of man? Why was she living a life on social media and being very vocal? As a woman, she was supposed to be, reserved and not be someone that voices out all of her thoughts, whether good or bad. Her parents were not happy with the kind of life she was living at all. They did not stand for that kind of life. It was wrong. It was against everything that they stood for. But she did not care. She did not care that her parents did not like what she was doing. She continued to live her life. She continued to be herself. She continued to express her feelings on social media. And this only angered her parents the more. This only angered her family the more. Sometime in 2022 and slash 2023, her family reached out to her. Her mom reached out to her and was trying to, get her to come back for a reunion. She sold this story of, that they wanted things to get better. They wanted to, grease the friction between herself and her family. They wanted to settle whatever the issues were between her and her family, and they needed her to just come back home. Tiba, come back home. Your family loves you. We've missed you. You've been away for so, so long. You've been away since 2017. That's about how many years? About 5 years. And they were like, come back home, Tiba. We miss you so much. We want to reunite with you. Your family loves you. But Tiba was a smart girl. And she knew that just appearing before her parents like that, she knew the consequences of such actions. She knew the laws and the beliefs and the traditions of the place where she came from. And she knew that if she did not take any precaution, that she was going to fall into the lion's den and she was going to be eaten raw by hungry lions. So what did she do? Tiba made an arrangement with one of her friends in Baghdad, Iraq, and she spoke to her mom that okay, she did not want to, meet the whole family all at once. That it was going to be overwhelming and it was going to be too much. So she just wanted to gradually ease into reuniting with her family members. And she then decided to meet up with her mother, first of all, in her friend's place in Baghdad. So she made the arrangement with her mother and her friend. So on the said day, she left her place and she went over to meet with her mom and her friend in her friend's house. And on getting there, she opened the door. She was expecting to see just two people in the house. But when she opened the door, she met her whole family in that house. She had been betrayed by her friend and she had been betrayed by her mother. Two people that she had trusted so much in her life. An argument ensued. And, it was a whole lot of shouts and quarrels and fights and arguments about the things that she was doing, the kind of life that she was living now, the kind of influence that she was getting for herself. Her family was still not in support of her lifestyle. It was heated. And they forced her from her friend's house all the way to their house in the other side of the city. So on getting to the house, the same arguments continued. It was heated. She was in an argument with her father, her mother, her brother, her siblings, everybody. And when she felt like she had had enough of it, she walked out on everybody and she went to her room to retire for the night. At around midnight, on the 31st of January 2023, her father got up in the middle of the night and walked over to Tiba's room, opened the door, went over to where his daughter was laying on the bed. He put his arms around her neck and he strangled her to death. After he had unalived his daughter, he went over to the police and reported himself. He told the police that he unalived his daughter in a bid to save his family's name. He said his act was to wash away the shame from his family. He said it was an honor killing. For those of us who do not know what honor killing is, I'm going to read out or I'm going to explain what honor killing is. Honor killings are performed in communities with the intent to punish violations of social, sexual, religious, or family norms or hierarchies. In many cases, the honor killings are committed by family members against a female relative considered to have disgraced her family. Note here that it is said it is against a female relative, meaning that this is just specific to women. against a female relative considered to have disgraced her family. According to Tiba's father, Tiba was considered to have disgraced her family with the kind of lifestyle that she was living. So he decided to unalive her. Tiba was just 22 years old as at the time of her death, as at the time her life was cut short, not by a stranger, not by somebody else who she did not know, not by somebody that was not related to her, but by her own blood, by her own father. I don't know if you guys are understanding this thing. How can a man who gave birth to a child have the kind of heart, no matter what that child has done, no matter the wrongdoings of that child, how do you have the heart to kill your own daughter? Somebody that you gave birth to, somebody that you raised. How do you have that kind of heart to kill her? There was an uproar in the society, especially from women. People came out to protest, and this case just led to a whole lot of protest about the injustice being done to women in Iraq, and about laws that were against the rights of women in Iraq. A lot of people came to the street. A lot of women came out to protest that they were being trampled on, that they were being looked down upon in the society, that they did not have rights, and that it was not fair that they were living their lives in such a manner. It was not fair that a father unalived his daughter just because he felt that she was a disgrace to the family. So when a man is a disgrace to the family, what then happens to him? Let me read out a part of the law of Iraq that says something about the rights of women. Now, the country's penal code, Article 41, states that no crime is committed while exercising a legal right, and this includes punishment of a wife by her husband. Offences that are committed with honorable motives listed in Article 128 can result in the lessening of a charge or dismissal of a penalty. What does this mean? So if you're a husband now and you probably physically abused your wife, maybe beat her up or something like that, and then you come out to say, oh, you did that as an act of punishment, that she did something wrong and we're trying to punish your wife. So the thing is that it is either you get a lesser penalty for the actions that you carried out as the husband, or you do not even get any penalty at all. So which means that Tiba's father now could either get a lesser punishment, a lesser penalty, because he said he did what he did in honor or for the honor of his family. So he could either get a lesser penalty or not even get any penalty at all, according to the laws of their country. Let's go on. In addition, Article 41 of the Iraqi constitution specifies that Iraqis are free in their commitment to their personal status according to their sex, beliefs, or choices. This means that varying interpretations of personal rights and freedoms are dependent on tribal and religious beliefs, which in some cases deny women equal rights in marriage and permit forced marriage. These laws entitle men to discipline women and girls if they do not conform to the social roles attributed to them. They safeguard family honor and dignity through their untarnished reputations, linked to modesty and virginity. I think this is quite explanatory. I don't think I need to explain anything further. It just goes to show you that women's rights are not a thing in this country, and women continually try to fight for their rights in these places. So, let me know your thoughts on this case, guys. Do you think that it is fair that a woman was killed, a young girl that had aspirations, that had big dreams, was killed just because the father felt she was a disgrace to the family, just because she was living her life and expressing herself on social media? I mean, even if she was the worst person in the world, do you think that it is fine for her father to unalive her just because he felt she was a disgrace to the family? Do you think it's right? Do you think there are any justifications for that? Do you think her father should be brought to the law if there's any law that is, against this kind of behavior in their country? Let me know what you feel about this case. Let me know what you think about this case. If there's anything that I may have missed in telling this story, I'd appreciate if you let me know in the comment section. I also want to say that everything I've said here was based on off the research that I did and of information that I got from the internet. If there is anything that I may have misinterpreted or if there's anything that I may have said wrongly, I'd appreciate if you bring that to my notice in the comment section. I'm not an Iraqi. I don't live in Iraq, so I may have misinterpreted some things. So I would appreciate if you let me know those things, if any, in the comment section. If you've watched this video until this point, please do well to subscribe to the channel, give this video a thumbs up, comment, let me know your thoughts as well. I like to say stay safe and stay informed. And until my next video, bye.